let's just move on. All right, Raw was Martin Luther King graphic, and then a shot of Obama, which was quite fascinating since Vince is certain that with Obama in charge, we're all going to hell. And I guess we shall see. We got a battle royal to hype up the Rumble with Orton, Kofi, Kane, Santino, DiBiase, and Cody. I noted on the Observer show, this is like that traditional year-opening Battle Royal in All Japan. There's a heavyweight and a junior heavyweight Battle Royal every year in All Japan that just fucking sucks. They do it every year. It's always fucking horrible. And that's what this was. It went like a minute and came down to Orton, Kane, and DiBiase. And Kane was about to toss out Orton when DiBiase sacrificed himself to help Randy win. So, yeah, they are now a team. They are working in collusion. This made Randy very happy. He gleefully raised the hands of his partners, and that was that.
And that was that. Santino was there for some comedy, but
I'd bitch about this if TNA did it. Why would you try and hype up a Royal Rumble pay-per-view with a 2-minute shitty battle royal?
That's a good question.
Stop being retarded, people.
It's a very good question. It did not work. It was not terribly exciting or fun, but things were going to go uphill.
Kelly just turned 22. Ripe old age of 22. As Jim Ross noted, 3 more years she's going to be too old for Lawler. Faced Beth Phoenix.
No comment.
Too old for you? Vinny, come on now.
She's already too old for Lawler, but anyway, go ahead.
Lawler, was it about Kelly one day where she was talking about how I'm only 19, and Lawler said, I'd want to be with young Kelly if it weren't for the issue of age here. She's too old.
Yeah, he did say something like that once.
Awesome. Anyway, she
celebrated her birthday by getting killed by Beth Phoenix.
She celebrated her birthday by wearing a pair of tights.
That's true.
Where she's actually so skinny that her tights fell down her ass. This was great. Yeah.
Well, I can't disagree.
So then Beth won. Orton was backstage and told DiBiase it's, we all have to win, and then we all win. Or some such bullshit. Anyway.
You're doing a very poor job. You want to talk about Kelly's ass some more?
Sim Snook and Manu were in Stephanie's office, and they said and Cody said the rumor was she was going to fire Orton.
Orton was concerned.
So Orton later met with her, and Stephanie, by the way, for those of you wondering, this was actually in the Figure 4 mailbag thread. Stephanie's supposed to be a babyface. I know that's impossible to believe.
Yeah.
But she's supposed to be a babyface.
I actually did write that question down here.
At the beginning of this segment, she was on the phone talking to her nanny about her sick kids. She's supposed to be like a loving mom, and we're supposed to be a fan of hers. So Orton walked in and said, listen, you did the right thing by firing Jericho, and she cut him off and said, listen, I'm not going to fire you, so stop sucking up to me and get out of my office. And I thought, what a bitch! And he thought, what a bitch.
He said, I was being nice.
He said, I was being nice. But you know what? Vince is coming back, and if anyone should be worried about fired, it would be you. He said, everyone laughed at you behind your back. You only have a job because you're Vince's daughter, and if you had any other last name, you'd be a nobody right now. And so she slapped him, and he stormed out. Great segment, but hateable woman.
Indeed. They had a clip here of Santino. He had a surprise for Beth Phoenix. It was Rosa, who is now apparently going to be their intern. And Beth was less than thrilled about this concept.
Regal and Punk, no DQ for the IC title. Great match. The finish actually was the best thing about it. They were in Chicago. So Punk came out with a flag of Chicago. Such thing, in fact, exists. Apparently every town has their own flag, I was told. And I actually call shenanigans because I have never seen the flag of, for example, Woodinville. I don't even know what it would be.
Just a pile of wood.
I don't even. Let me think. What the fuck would the flag of Woodinville be?
Wine. They do wineries out there. It's a big pile of grapes.
Perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, it was he came out with this flag, and they had a great match, and Regal dropped him on his head with a half Nelson German, which looked like it totally sucked. And Punk ended up missing a high cross. Regal missed the knee, and then Punk hoisted him up for the go to sleep. And Regal tried to escape with the elbows to the head, but sweet crisis with Chicago. Punk was not going down. He hit the move anyway and got the pin. The place went ballistic. Great finish, great replays. He ran around ringside and celebrated with everybody, and this was a victory.
This is tremendous stuff from top to bottom. It was clear from the moment the show opened that Punk loves Chicago, and Chicago loves CM Punk. There were signs from everywhere. When Lillian announced this match for the Intercontinental title, the place erupted. That's all they needed to hear. They knew what it was, and they were excited to see it. He came out with a flag. They all loved him. They had a great match. It was pretty basic, really, but there's just an A-plus exchange of strikes where they just took turns forearming each other, and Punk was continually getting submission holds, and Regal would get the ropes, and Punk would say, well, it's no DQ, so I'll just keep hurting you. And that was fine, and Layla raked his eyes for the heat finally, and he finally got the win in the most dramatic manner possible, fighting off the elbows to the head, and he just shrugged them off and hit his move and got the win. And then it's CM Punk winning a title, which always equals party. I've never seen a guy who celebrates title wins like this man. He's tremendous. If I were working the show, he'd win a title 4 times a year just to have him throw another party. It always works. And they did not go to the back. They left him in the ring for a long time to let him celebrate and hopefully try again to make this belt mean something.
He started the Michaels thing. This will just ruin my brain.
All right. They had the contract signing for JBL Cena. JBL and Michaels came out, and then Cena came out, and then Cena signed the contract, and then JBL signed the contract. And I thought, Jesus Christ, that's it? That was so easy. And, of course, that was not it. Cena wanted to talk for a while. Wanted to talk to Shawn. He said he wrestled Shawn in the main event last week, and Shawn was not a broken-down man. He's still the main event. He's still the showstopper. He's still Mr. WrestleMania. You're not JBL's puppet. And JBL interrupted, and he said, I know Shawn's still on top. He's still a man. That's why I hired him. And he started talking about how all of JBL's employees work for him because they choose to, and they're all compensated very well. And finally, Shawn could take no more, and he grabbed the mic and said, shut up. And he talked about how he hated himself for taking JBL's money and what he had become, and he couldn't stand to look at himself in the mirror anymore, but he was going to continue to do it because that's what he had to do. Then he turned to Cena and said, you shouldn't judge me until you've walked a mile in my shoes. You don't know where I've been. You're not my age. You don't have my responsibilities. You don't have to look your wife in the face and know you've squandered not only your own money, but also hers. You don't have 2 children to put through school. You don't know what I'm going through. And that's why I'm going to do what I have to do. If that means people don't like me, if that means you lose your world championship, so be it. And Cena he paused for a moment and he said, no, I don't believe you. He said, you're still the best. You can still wrestle for a living and you'll be okay, which is true. And he said, I don't believe you're going to screw me. And Shawn said, I'm sorry about that. And then he screwed him. And then he and JBL beat up Cena together. The
reason this was so great was because Cena and JBL is not going to be a good match. It's just not possible. But with this storyline, I cannot wait to see this match. Because you just know, Cena flat out said, there will be a moment in the Rumble where you must make a choice.
Yes.
That's going to happen.
Right.
Now, hopefully the match is short because nobody's going to give a shit about it until he makes that choice. But it's going to be intriguing. And it's made me care about a match I could not possibly have cared about a week ago. That's magic.
It's amazing to me.
And the fact that Cena was hated coming out, and at the end, when JBL and Shawn fucking Michaels beat him up, they booed.
Indeed.
They were mad.
Shawn managed to heal himself, yes. Here's what's amazing to me. This is a total TNA angle. A total TNA storyline. They want you to buy the pay-per-view because Shawn Michaels is going to screw someone, and you got to pay to find out who it is. They did this in TNA recently it was Angle versus Christian. AJ would be there, and you had to pay to find out who he was going to screw.
Yeah.
Here's the key difference. I care about this one.
Yeah.
It matters.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is a giant thumbs up for WWE, and this segment coming off the Punk Regal match, I was loving Raw at this point.
Rey Mysterio and Mike Knox. Let me talk about this.
All right.
First, they interviewed Knox, and they said, what do you have against Rey? And he said, well, I have nothing against him. So Todd said, well, why do you keep attacking him? And Knox said, I don't know. I really don't have a reason. Alrighty then.
I
guess it was intriguing because it was something different.
I can sort of see what they were going for here. It was something different, and plus, it makes him scarier that he's attacking this guy randomly. He's just some psychopath who picked a name out of the roster and started beating him up.
Sure.
It's still dumb.
Then they had a wacky match, and there was a DQ for pounding on him and not breaking at 5, and I thought, did I not see this like the last 2 fucking weeks in a row? A shitty DQ.
Worst finish. I hate this finish. He was disqualified for kicking too much ass.
Yeah. Well, it happens in Mexico all the time.
This
at least he broke the this he at least broke the rules.
Which rule?
He didn't break on 5. He pounded on him in the corner as Ray was in the ropes, and he got a 5 count, and so the ref called for the bell.
All right, technically, he broke a rule, but that's like being disqualified for throwing a closed fist punch.
It's happened.
It has happened. It's still dumb.
Well, yeah. Well, no, but yeah.
Let's move on.
I mean, it is. I mean, it was. This was stupid. Then we had Stephanie in her office, and there was Jericho. Told him to get the hell out. Jericho said he wasn't leaving. Said last week she called Vince after she fired him and told him that Steph was stupid for firing the 2008 Superstar of the Year, and Vince told him he could plead his case as soon as he arrived, so Jericho was going to do that, and he warned her, I'm not holding anything back. So Miz and Morrison faced Crime Time in a non-title match, went about a minute. Crime Time won, so they'll get a title shot probably next week.
I don't think there are any tags in this actual match.
All pretty lame.
The promo had to be longer than the match itself.
Probably.
Make a long story short, Crime Time said, if we beat you, we get a title shot. If you beat us, we will leave you alone. So, of course, they won.
Got a wacky Royal Rumble history promo. We got a meeting with Goldust and Cody, who, of course, are brothers in real life. And basically, Goldust said, I got something I want you to watch. Starrcade DVD. You will learn more watching this DVD in one night than you would in a lifetime traveling with Randy Orton. Bullshit!
How does he lie?
Lie!
A bold-faced lie.
And Cody knew it was a lie, and he told his brother to fuck off and said, I'm going to learn from Orton because I don't want to waste my talents like you did. Said he was going to surpass him and his father. And when they made a Cody DVD, he was going to make sure to send Dusty and Dustin a copy. Hope he's not holding his breath on that one, because he's going to be waiting a while, I would guess.
It's not in the plans, I'm sure. I just like, and on the one hand, Goldust has to consider himself lucky to have a job, considering all the cuts they've been making lately. On the other hand, he had to put his costume and makeup on for this 2-minute promo.
Well, at least he got a promo out of it. He's had to put the costume on for less in the past. Jillian and Melina, Beth, Santino, and Rosa made their way down, and they had a couple botched spots, and then Melina pinned her. And anyway, Santino sent Rosa in to attack her afterwards, and then Beth hit the ring and tossed out Rosa and continued the beating, and basically said she didn't need help to beat her, and then stormed off and left them both there, and this caused Rosa great consternation.
Melina did not do the splits for her entrance, and then they had a bad match, so I don't know if she's hurt or what, but this was just a bad match followed by your usual Raw wackiness.
Then we had the final promo, which I was not sold on until like the last 30 seconds. Vince came out and didn't mention why he was alive, called out Jericho, told him to plead his case. Jericho talked about how horrible Steph was, so Vince called out Steph. And long story short, Vince said he was not going to fire Stephanie. They were going to run Raw together. And so Stephanie said, well, Chris, if you want your job back, you're going to have to beg for it. And it took about 30 minutes for him to finally apologize. And then she said, I'll see you at the Rumble. Didn't say what that meant. Apparently he will actually be in the Rumble, but this was the usual Stephanie vagueness, which we've become accustomed to since Mike Adamle was replaced by her. So he left, and then Orton came out, and Orton said pretty much the same thing, and Steph got really mad and stormed out after Orton basically said, the quote was, she popped out a few grandkids and became essentially worthless. This made her very upset, and she stormed out. So this got Vince very upset, and he told Randy that he had to apologize. And at this point, I'm like, okay, the Royal Rumble is Sunday, and I am watching the McMahons humiliate their top stars in front of a live television audience. What the fuck does this have to do with the Royal Rumble? What the fuck does this have to do with anything? It's just jacking off here on TV. So, finally, Orton refused to apologize, and Vince said, if you don't apologize, I'm going to fire you. And Orton said, you don't want to do that. You can't afford to do that, blah, blah, blah. So Vince said, Randy Orton, you are, and before he could say fired, Orton slapped him across the face hard, booted him in the face, and then gave him the running soccer kick, and fucking, I thought I got it bad from Rob. Vince got it bad from Orton.
Randy Orton kicked Vince McMahon in the head.
And they brought out all the geeks. They brought out Steph to act. Randy Orton was horrified at what he had done, perhaps for real, as he just kicked the fucking boss for real right in the head. And the angle was tremendous, and there are a million different ways they can go with this angle. Does Orton get fired? Where do they go? What do they do here? What does Stephanie do to Orton? How does this play into the Royal Rumble? Is he still in the match? How does this play into WrestleMania? Million questions. This was awesome.
Steph came in right away, and she was squealing and crying hysterical. She knelt over Vince, and all I could think was, kick her, Randy. Kick her, too. She's right there.
I thought for sure he was going to kick her, because she was on all fours, and he backed up, and he was holding his head, and I thought, oh, Christ, she's next. I thought for fucking sure she was next, but she wasn't next.
All I can hope is that she's next.
Well, probably not.
Not next on the show.
She's a mom now.
I still don't want her on my TV.
Orton does not pull that kick. I don't know if you've noticed.
Maybe they can train him. Maybe you can put on a large pad on his foot.
All right, let's play a quick song, and then we'll do some shout-outs, of which we have an abundance.